is Afrand with Dorasti, and today we're going to show you how to make Tahdig and Caviar. Tahdig is a traditional Persian crispy rice, and I'm super excited to show you guys how to make it. So to make Tahdig, we're going to first start by making Persian rice. And to do that, we're going to need long grain basmati rice and some salt. So the first step of making Tahdig is making the Persian rice, and the first step in making the Persian rice is to wash and rinse your rice. So we're going to take our long grain basmati rice, we're going to pour some in the bowl that we're going to rinse in, and we're going to take it over to the sink. And you don't need any special tools, you can just use your hands and rinse it. And the idea is to wash off any of the starch. We're going to do this about 5 or 6 times. You can see the water's a little cloudy right now, so we're going to keep rinsing it until the water runs clear. Alright, and once your water runs clear, you're going to add a little bit of salt, about 2 tablespoons if you're doing about 4 cups of rice. And you're just going to let that soak for about an hour. Next step, once we have our rice soaking for an hour, we're going to parboil our rice. So first we're going to take our rice and we're going to strain it. We're going to bring it here. We have some water that's already boiling. We're going to add our strained rice right into our water. And this is just like making pasta. We also want to make sure our water is going to be salted like pasta, so salty like the ocean. I'm going to add a generous amount of salt. And what the salt does, besides give it flavor, it slows down how fast the rice cooks. And by doing so, we're going to get fluffy rice, we're going to get long rice in there. So I'm going to give it a stir, make sure there's no clumps. This is going to boil for about 5 minutes. So what makes Persian rice unique from other rices you've seen is most of the rice gets cooked in the steaming process. So right now we're parboiling it up to about 75% doneness. Takes 5 to 7 minutes. The majority of the cooking though gets done steaming it, and that's what creates that long fluffy rice without the starch that Persian rice is so famous for. Okay, so at this point you'll start seeing the rice float to the top, and that's a good indication it's about ready. You can also taste a bit. You want a little tooth on it. That's how you know it's ready to drain. So at this stage, I'm going to turn this off. And I'm going to strain our rice. Okay, now that we have our parboiled rice, we're going to start making the Tahdig. So we're going to start with our parboiled rice. We have some oil. And I have some saffron that I dissolved with some hot water. Okay, we're going to be using a small non-stick pot. You could use any size you want. This is a very scalable recipe. We're going small to complement the caviar. First step is we're going to take some of our parboiled rice and we're going to mix it with the saffron. So we're going to take some right here. We're going to pour some of that liquid saffron right over it. And the idea right now is to get a nice even color. You'll see sometimes traditionally they'll pull the saffron right into the pot. I like to do this separately to create a more consistent, even color on our Tahdig. I like to keep the oil separate too to make sure it's golden all around and not just in spots. Okay, so while that's mixed, I'm going to add a little bit of the oil to the bottom of the pot. I'm using almond oil because it's neutral. It can stand high heat. You can use clarified butter or ghee as well if you want. And make sure there's enough oil on the bottom. This is what's going to get our Tahdig super crispy. Now we're going to layer our saffron rice on the bottom of our pot. As you can see, I got it nice and orange. It's going to give us that nice color and that contrast with the caviar. And this part's super important to get it even on the bottom. You get a consistent, even cook. Okay, once we have the saffron rice layer on the bottom, we're going to go ahead and add our white rice. So the idea here, the trick, is to kind of create a little mountain, and that keeps the steam direction flowing upwards. right down the middle. And once you hear that rice kind of sizzle on the bottom, we're going to lower the temperature. You don't want the tahdig to burn. Okay, the next step, once you have your rice layered in there, we're going to create 3 little holes using our spoon. This is going to keep the steam from coming out. Okay, once you have the rice in there, the next step is to put a lid on it. This step's pretty important. It keeps it from creating too much steam. So we're going to take a towel. We're just going to cover the lid like that. We're going to wrap it fairly tight. And this keeps our rice from getting too mushy. Once it's tight like that, we're just going to secure it on there. I'm going to lower the heat to a low and let that go for 60 to 90 minutes. Okay, it's been 90 minutes. Now we have some crispy tahdig down here. We have some beautiful Dorasti caviar. We're going to flip this tahdig over onto a plate and start assembling our Tahdig and Caviar. Okay, here we have our beautiful Dorasti caviar, as you can see. Super excited to be working with this product. It's some of the freshest and best caviar I've had the pleasure of working with. And it goes really well with our tahdig. It's got that salty brininess of the Caspian Sea to go with our rice, and it's a very delicious combo. This part is the funnest part, but also the most stressful sometimes if it doesn't go as planned. So we're going to put the plate over the pot, grab a towel, it's going to be a little warm. Grab it, and we're just going to gracefully, hopefully, flip it over in one motion. Lift the pot, and there we go. We got our tahdig. Right, now that we have our tahdig out, we get to do the fun part, which is putting some of this beautiful caviar right on top of the tahdig. Okay, now we have our Tahdig and Caviar ready to go. What makes this dish so great is you have that crispy tahdig with that texture with the soft, salty, briny, fresh caviar just in your mouth. It melts. You got that crunchy pop. If you have a little lemon juice for some acidity, it's a perfect combination. Thanks for watching. I hope that was informative, and I hope you guys have fun making Tahdig and Caviar.